Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Leslie with Candle Life Company, and I make videos all about making, selling candles, and as well as providing you all with any tips and tricks to possibly and successfully implement in your own candle journey. In today's video, I am going to go through in much further depth detail the candle formula that I have been using for years. I got my paper, I got my pencil, got my calculator. So it's actually just going to be the candle formula, and that's strictly it. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the examples. Welcome. So get your notebooks out, a sheet of paper, a pencil, your calculator, and as well as you can pull up on your website, Google. I'm going to be using Google because I do use it a lot to go ahead and convert ounces to grams. Like I've stated before, it just works out better for me and the formula I've been using for years, as well as pull up candlescience.com, because I'm actually going to walk you guys through it and actually show why the importance of knowing how much your jar can hold in regards to the wax, as well as how much fragrance load can you put into the wax that you are choosing to work with. So let's jump right into it. Alrighty, so I already have my Candle Science pulled up here. I also have Google pulled up here, so we are ready to roll. Now, I want to go ahead and show you guys why it's so important to know two things: how much your vessel, your jar can hold of wax, and how much of that wax can you put of a fragrance load, okay? So here we have one of their 16-ounce classic can tumble jars. I don't use any of these. This is just to go ahead and show you. They're actually a really good website though, if you want to check them out for any fragrance oils or even jars, to be honest, because I have purchased jars through them, tested them. It's just that for me, I just had a whole different, look for my own business. So I never chose to go through them. But if you can see here, it is telling you the wax weight to fill line, right? So you would ignore the volume. We're looking for the wax weight, which is 13.23 ounces, okay? So what I would do here is I would round it up to be just an even solid number. So I would just go with a 13 ounce, right? So we are going to use 13 ounces, right, for our formula here. In a second, I also want to show you the importance of knowing why you need to know the fragrance amounts. There we go, right here. So let's just shop anyone. Let's go to summer. It's already going to be summer. Let's just say we want Apricot Grove, right? So if you are using, let's see here, Candle Safe, right? So see, it'll tell you recommended applications. So Candle Safe, it's telling you usage wise anywhere from 3% to 10%. So this is the maximum that you can actually load your candles with this fragrance oil, which is 10%, right? All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take this, right? So let's write out our formula real quick. So the formula, right, in general, I'm gonna put it up here, is fill weight divided parentheses 100% plus the fragrance amount you want to put in here in percent equals our wax weight, okay? So this is our formula right here. So the fill weight divided by, in parentheses, 100% plus our fragrance oil percent is going to equal just our wax weight amount that we need, right? So what we're going to do here is we said that this 16 ounce, its wax weight to filter line is 13.23%, okay? Right here. So I said, let's go ahead and leave it even, okay? So 13 ounces into grams. This is our gram amount. So do you see how it's 368.544, okay? So what we're going to do is round up because our number here after the decimal is 5 and over. Remember, that's the whole rounding part in math. It's okay. We're going to go through it. If it was lower than that, like let's say the 4 was in there, we wouldn't round up. We would just keep at 368. But for this sake, 369. So our fill weight is in grams, right? This is where we're going to plug in our numbers, right? Our fill weight now in grams is 369, okay? We are going to go ahead and put our divide sign. We're just plugging it all in. We're going to do 100%, right? Plus the maximum fragrance oil that we selected, the apricot summer one, was like maximum 10%, which in a big candle like that, and depending how strong the fragrance oil is, I wouldn't do 10%, okay? I would do 9, but for this one, let's just do the maximum amount, right? Let's do 10%. End parentheses, and we need to come up with our wax weight, right? So now we're going to pull up our lovely calculator. Alrighty, so if you guys on your phone as well, there's going to be your calculator. You're going to have the option. Usually when you prompt up your calculator, it gives you the basic, right? We're going to click down here and we want the scientific version of it. So that way you can do the actual math from your phone or your tablet. So what we're going to do is just type in these numbers in here, okay? So we have what? 369, so 369, right? We have divided by, you got to put the divide by, okay, guys? Parentheses, 100%. We said 10% of our fragrance oil, right? 10%, losing it. Okay, 10%, close parentheses. Now we hit enter. This is our wax weight alone. So you see how here we have 335.45, and so on. This number here, that 4, is not 5 and over, so we don't round up. So we keep it as 335, okay? So that would be 335 grams. Now, I'm trying to, alrighty. So then it's going to equal 335, right? Our wax weight amount. We want to know how much fragrance oil we're going to add. So now we're going to subtract here, okay? So we're going to take our original wax weight, okay, that we had converted from ounces in Google to grams, and subtract it from our answer here of just wax alone, okay? Minus 335 equals, and if we put it in our calculator here, let me bring it back over. Oops. So let's go ahead and hit clear it out. So 369, right? Minus, we said 335, right? And we need to add 34 grams of fragrance oil, okay, alone for that one candle. So, wait. So this is wax alone, okay? This right here, grams and grams. This right here is 34 grams is our fragrance oil amount. And this is how you would get to the correct amounts of how much wax alone I need and how much fragrance oil amount I need, okay? And what I like to do is double check my work, okay? I know we've heard it in school, and I know a lot of us are probably not that great at math. If you are, amazing. If you're not, it's okay. This is not too hard of a math. It's very plain and simple. And walking through it actually does help, so you can actually see how to use it. And that way now you can implement this, whether you're making soy candles, or I'm sorry, candles or wax melts, okay? Because you could use this formula as well for the wax melts. So now let's go ahead and just double check our numbers. So we said 369 is what Google gave us for the conversion from ounces to grams, and 100% in parentheses plus we're going to load it up 10%, which was the max for that fragrance oil from Candle Science. And we're going to hit enter. Yep, we got 335, right? We did not round up because the 4 is not 5 and over. And then what we did was, because we need to find what is our fragrance oil amount alone, we took the original wax, the amount that you can hold inside that jar, the 369 minus the 335 wax alone, and that gave us 34 grams of fragrance oil amount. So now when you make your candle, and if you have not seen my previous video of how I make my candles, you can go ahead and actually see it, because I show you guys there with the calculator and everything. We would make sure that we do our 335 of wax, right? We put it on a scale and everything. We tear the weight that's from the pitcher and all that good stuff, and we get 0. We pour in 335 grams amount of wax alone. And then I also have an individual little small scale, right? It's tiny like this. And I put my cups in there. So like either the Dixie cups, or I also have reusable silicone cups. And then in that one, we measure out in grams 34, right? 34 grams of fragrance oil alone. Now, what happens if you're trying to do multiple candles? Well, depending on the candle amount you're going to make, right? That batch, I like to do small batches. So like I'll have of each fragrance only 4, right? So if I'm going to do 4 candles, so like let's say I need 4 candles of this apricot, right? I am going to times that by that 335, right? Let's say I want to get it all out of the way. I want to go ahead and make a lot of candles, right? I want to make 4 only. We have 1340. So then I know in that picture I would need 1,340 grams of wax, right? This is if I'm doing multiple only. And then how much would I need of my fragrance oil? Times that also by 4. 34 times 4. And we have 136 grams of fragrance oil amount that we would need to accomplish for the fragrance oil. and that's just fragrance oil, okay? So then you're aware. And then, of course, in this process, you can add these together. I actually don't, because like I said, I have separate scales for this. So I would just make sure I get to this wax amount on one scale, right, with my pitcher. And then I would get to 136 grams of fragrance oil on my other little scale. All right. So this is actually just for the candles alone. Okay. Now I do highly recommend, again, you research the kind of wax you want to use, the fragrance oils you want to use, the jars you want to use, all that good stuff. You need to know how much fragrance oil amount you can add into your wax, okay? It's very important. You don't want to overload your candles with too much fragrance oil, more than what is recommended on the distributor's website, because it can cause a fire. And we don't want that. We don't want to be causing fires in people's homes, okay? In our customers' homes. So you see how Candle Science had it there on their website, which is amazing, right? Let's see. Let's pull it back up, right? You see how they had it here? Now, if you ever come across right here, if you ever come across a distributor that does not show you the max load amount, or like the wax fill amount for the products, reach out to the distributor. There's nothing wrong with that. Reach out to them, whether they have a phone, whether it's email. I would ask those questions. It's very important to know. So this is just one great example of how I use this this formula right here that I have been using for years, since 2020, since my testing phase. And shout out to its Memory Box Candle Co. I actually got this formula through her, and I know she got it through someone else. I'm not sure who. So I don't know the history on that. The thing is that I just saw her video one day, and she showed the equation, right, on candle making, and I picked up on it. And again, I've been implementing this successfully since my testing phase back in 2020. No complaints, no nothing. You're probably gonna have to tweak the numbers, the percentage, right? If you don't want to put that much. I find it unnecessary personally for my business. And if you want to do like a custom wax blend as well, you would just then split it, right? You would split it. So like, let's say you want to mix, I don't know, coconut wax and soy wax, right? You want to do, let's say 80% soy wax, 20% coconut wax, right? So then you would take this number, and then you would make sure you get the proper percentage of how much of the blend you have to get in there to get the right amount and still equal this number here, okay? So this is the demonstration for this. Again, you can use this if you're doing wax melts, and it will work perfectly fine with the wax melts. Again, depending on the wax you use, I would double check with the distributor, the seller, and see how much is the fragrance max load amount, okay? How much is safe to put inside that wax, your fragrance load, so that you do not overdo it as well, okay? So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you all feel now comfortable with the candle formula that I have been using. Again, if you have any questions, you can feel free to comment below. I will try my best to go ahead and respond as soon as possible. Or you can actually DM me on IG, on Instagram, at candle.life.co. And I will go ahead and reply as soon as I possibly can on there as well. I may not know everything, but I will surely try my best to help you out and at least point you in the right direction. If you like this video, please comment, share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It will help me out in this channel to go ahead and get this message more across to anyone else who's on their own candle journey. So, again, thank you so much for your time. You have a wonderful rest of your day and take care.